Alright, welcome to another episode of Aselia the Eternal, where I continue the streak of not being able to properly record a single mission on the first try. It is my kryptonite, for some reason. It's always a little frustrating when I mess it up, because the audio just doesn't sound as candid, but hopefully you will forgive me. And I'll sort of talk through this really briefly. The strategy here, there's a couple main problems with this mission here. You have this sort of group of enemies here, which are actually pretty dangerous. You got this enemy with Inferno, you got this enemy with Heaven Sword. The Starfire Sword actually also is pretty difficult to deal with for some characters. We don't have a lot of characters in this game right now that can take Heaven Sword or Inferno consistently. So we have to deal with this group of enemies, and then by the time we make it through, we're sort of out of gas for these enemies up here. So I don't think that this is the only strategy necessarily, but this is the best strategy that I was able to come up with, and I gotta get on with my life at some point, because I am never gonna finish this game at this rate. Anyway, these enemies will come towards us, so what we're going to do is build recovery centers on the base, so that when they fight us, we can immediately heal backwards, or heal back up, not backwards. Recovery Center gives us an extra 25% to our HP recovery at the beginning of the turn. What that means is that with 2 recovery centers, and we can build 2 recovery centers, 2 recovery facilities, we heal like 70 to 75% of our HP at the beginning of every turn. Because we don't have a ton of units that can take multiple hits from some of these enemies, we have to be able to heal up that damage instead. Theoretically, there's a way to play this mission where maybe you've leveled up your green spirits a little bit more, and so you can sort of survive some of this damage a little bit better, but it just doesn't seem to be happening that way. Like I said, I have not been able to come up with a better strategy here. I'm not saying that a better strategy doesn't exist, just that I haven't been able to find it. But we will still be able to beat this mission within the turn limit, which is really the goal of this playthrough. And I do believe that this strategy is very effective for people that maybe have not made the exact same level up decisions that I have, right? So here we're just going to be really... no need to overthink this. We're going to use Fury to kill this enemy, and then we're going to use Ice Banisher for this Inferno. Now, Nellie's Ice Banisher only activates once, but Aselia can live a single Inferno, so this will give us enough to survive. And because we have the recovery centers, we will heal up immediately after that, or immediately starting on the next turn, which then means that we can do it again if we need to. And that's really going to be the strategy for the first half of this mission, is just taking the absolutely most optimal fights that we can and then healing up afterwards. But we do need a character with Ice Banisher 4 here, otherwise we just die to the Inferno. And we don't want that. I apologize if my recording for this feels a little rushed. I do think that my first take is usually the most authentic and usually the most genuine, and I just kind of have a hard time recapturing that magic, so to speak, on my second take. We're going to attack here with F3. We're going to use Shia with Impulse Blow because she will attack this character here. And then we're going to use Inferno on Orpha. Orpha's Inferno activates twice, which will be enough to one-shot this green spirit. And then, obviously, you know, any character at this point can deal with the red spirit. But because we kill the red spirit on the attack phase, they don't do any damage to us, which means that we don't need to have Ice Banisher for this round of combat. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm also not 100% sure how EtherSync works, because it does seem to interrupt certain abilities, but I have not played around with it. And because we're not fighting solo units, we're fighting group formations, I just don't think that Ether Sync is quite as valuable here. But it is something that I will play around with more in the future, because that might be a pretty key component of some of the strategies. We've also gotten to a part of the game where we don't actually have access to a ton of ether anymore, which is a little interesting. So we really can't. We went from being able to make multiple level ups or multiple training sessions on the previous missions to now not being able to make any. And because we probably want to have transfer facilities in order to jump around to different towns, we probably are not going to be able to level up a lot of characters in the near future either. I'll have to see what the next mission looks like, because I know it's going to be a little bit of a doozy, and we'll have to see how much ether we get from getting an SS rank on this mission. But I'm a little concerned that we might be getting to a point where we just won't be able to defeat certain enemies or take certain hits, which is going to be an interesting challenge to have to deal with. And then we're going to attack with F2 here. We're going to take swing, swing 2, we got Dark Impact. We're just going to clean up this formation and let them attack us on our formation, on our turn. I did make a pretty silly mistake with this last recording. I'm gonna try and maybe speed things up a little bit, see if I can. It'll be interesting to see how well that works. Black Spirits are kind of interesting because they really do want to be low mental, low mind. But I really don't want my characters to be low mind, which is kind of an interesting problem to have. Alright, they're going to attack us. And we're just going to switch to triple swing here. Utica is going to do a lot of work here because she is not affected by Ice Banisher, so we're going to get some pretty good chip damage through this. Otherwise, we just wouldn't be able to do anything. I might also... I feel like our damage is not the problem here. I think it's our defensive utility and our flexibility. It might be worthwhile to train the green spirits and the black spirits to see if I can get more units that can take hits or attack past Ice Banisher. Because that's been kind of the big problem recently, is that there's a lot of, a lot of blue spirits with Ice Banisher in the support role. And that really makes it difficult for me to do a lot of the really powerful things that I can do with red spirits. Maybe leveling up the black spirits would give me a way to sort of circumvent some of that. I don't think the black spirits are quite as powerful as red spirits are. Right, they're definitely not, nuking an entire formation with a single ability, but being able to do anything can be helpful, I think. And then same thing here. You're going to see here that Yuto takes about 3,000 damage from this Heaven Sword, despite the fact that he is blocking with an active ability. We do not have a lot of characters that can take hits from these guys, which is part of what makes this mission so challenging. In the previous recording, I talked a little bit about how the beginning of the game was really, really tight in terms of routing, right? We didn't have a ton of options, and the way that the game expected us to beat it, the way that the game expected us to play this mission was very specific. And it was more about sort of solving the puzzle, right? Some of the recent missions have been pretty easy, I think, because we were sort of ahead of the curve enough that we didn't really need to worry about the enemies. But this mission, I think, has shown that the game does still have some teeth, right? We just don't have a great ability to deal with the Heavensward enemies or the Inferno enemies a lot of the time. So we're gonna go ahead and move back here. How do I want to do this? We're definitely going to make this change here. We're going to swap Orpha with Nelly. I find we often have the three heroines together a lot. But what do I do now? I really don't need F1 to do the second half of this mission. So, do I... You know what? I'm just going to move everybody up. Let's just be difficult. Let's see if we can speed this up. I guess I enjoy making things harder on myself for no reason. With this enemy... We want to use Inferno here because, again, they only have one charge of Ice Banisher. We're going to use Fury, Accurate Block, and we're going to use Accurate Block 5 here because it blocks twice. Nope, that's the wrong one. I can't read. Because this will block twice, so she shouldn't take any damage here, which means that she'll be at full HP for the Heavensward enemy, which is going to be the big challenge. In my opinion, is going to be the big challenge. She takes some damage, not much. And, actually, I guess it didn't matter because we just kill him, but we will be able to kill this enemy with Orpha. Inferno! 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 I think Aselia is probably our strongest attacker at this point. And with this one, we're also going to block with Asperia, but we're going to use Accurate Block 6 this time to take as little damage as possible. Usually, we're still probably going to take probably about 2,000. We're going to use Fury, we're going to use Inferno for kind of all the same reasons. About what? 1,500? Nymthor and Hallian, I think, just outright die, unfortunately. Which is pretty scary. We probably could have switched from something else, but we wanted to make sure that we killed the supporter, so we're not upset to use Fury here. Again, we really don't need Aselia, Asperia, or Orpha for the final half of this mission, so this is really just extra, right? These are just bonuses at this point. And We should be able to survive this, so let's give it a shot. Let's stick with Inferno.
敵部隊を確認しました。攻撃を仕掛けます。私は抵抗しても。
I don't think she just kills this enemy. No. Well, she does with her follow-up attack. And we should survive this with about 1,000 HP. Yeah, good. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Okay. And then this Inferno is going to hit. It's going to do a good chunk of damage, which means that our follow-up attack on this enemy should target the attacker first. We just need to make sure that we use our absolute best unit to do it. So, what does that look like? We're on turn 6. I think let's see. So Aselia with 800 took 15. So we can reasonably expect Talion to take twice as much. I'm going to stop here. I don't want my team to be too desynced. Yeah, so they're going to attack us. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I know we're not gonna. No, Yuto's not gonna die here, but I don't know if triple swing will be enough to kill this attacker. He's gonna take a lot of damage though. Oh, good. It does. That's nice. So we should actually be able to kill this enemy on the backswing. Yeah, you'd be able to kill this enemy now. Depending on how much damage Yuto does. Yeah, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Oh, maybe not. That's actually not gonna matter. But we'll still do enough damage on the backswing. Oh, that's so close. Look at that. Oh well. Alright. We're going to take advantage of the fact that this enemy is not going to be able to attack us. And we're going to use Full Moon Sword here. And we're going to put Yuto in the support position so that he can heal himself. I think Yuto is still the only character that we have that can heal before the round has started, which is helpful. It still did like 500 damage. Okay. Let's see. So we're on turn 7. So I kept... I moved F2, F3, F4 east. I defended with... Who did I defend with? F1 and F2. Sorry, I'm trying to make some adjustments to my guide here. Turn 7. We attacked with F2. Which was Utica, Himika, Yuto. And then we moved everybody else west. And so we're on chapter 7. We're on turn 7 now. We're gonna move everybody else west. We're gonna also remove these recovered facilities. And we're gonna move everybody west. It was a little bit cleaner. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be cleaner. Alright. Turn 8 through 10. We're going to move everybody west. I don't think we're getting any ether from killing these enemies. So we're still stuck with the same amount of ether that we had total, which is 8,500. There's not enough to do very much. Turn 9, we're going to continue moving everybody down. Eight through 9. So we're ahead by a turn here. That's cool. So for turn 10, we want it like this. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt their turn. We want it like this. We want Aselia, Asperia, Orpha, Himika, Yuto, and Shia, which is interesting. We want Nelly, Nymphthor, and Utica, and we want Celia, Halion, and Nanaru. And we should be able to do this just fine, without any issues. And we're going to just... Can you make a save? Since we are treading uncharted territory here. Alright, so this enemy has Full Moon Sword. We defend with F3. Hmm. Let's defend with Asperia here. We've got enough HP to live this. So defend F1, AO, whip, lightning, accurate block, 5, lightning fire. Lightning fire should do a lot of damage to this enemy. And that helps us preserve charges from Uruka, who's going to be one of the key units for our final attack here. Yeah. Asperia is definitely very tanky. Don't let the enemies with the don't let the enemies that have a sword fool you. And then I think lightning fire might just kill this enemy here. Does a lot of damage. No, that doesn't do as much damage as Inferno does. But we survived this comfortably. Well, Fairy does. Orpha's a little closer than I'd like. Okay. We've got the second enemy here, and we need to make sure that our unit has... Oh. I see. Well, isn't this a challenge? Okay. This is not gonna work. I'm gonna have to change this. So I need to be able to heal these guys. Alright. We learn from our mistakes. So, I need to have a unit that can do this, maybe? Does that work? That probably works. So let's do it like this. We're gonna have Yuto, Asperia, Halion. We're gonna have Himika, Aselia, Pia, Nelly, Nymthor, Uruka, Aselia, Orpha, Nanadu. This is going to be a little strange. Let's test this. Thank you for joining me in this ride. But basically what we need to do is we need to be able to heal Asperia and heal Yuto so that they can take this Heaven Sword attack. Okay. Earth Prayer 2. Accurate block 5. I guess we can do Frenzy. Let's see what happens. And then this should work as well.
敵です
Okay, perfect. Let's do something like this. See what happens here.
速やかに迎撃をこの感じ
I think we survived this.
あらあら
Oh, no we don't. Ooh, that did a lot of damage. Okay. Let's do it like this. This should work. We don't get the opportunity to heal Yuto here, but we kind of don't care. And then we're gonna put do something real strange. And we're gonna do passion, or resist, just to be safe. We're gonna attack with AEH. Prayer 2, defend F2, HSY, what is it? This way Yuto can heal himself, Shia should be able to survive this hit, and Himika will kill here. Alright. Now, we are going to defend with F1. Sperio should be able to survive this. HEA, equip, accurate, block 6, Ice Vanisher 3. She can at least survive one attack. So she's at 34.
速やか
You should put her at 2,000. No. Okay, that did a lot of damage. Yuto's not going to survive that, but Udaka can. We're going to use Wind Whisper. Which will not heal us or anything, but will prevent us from taking a bunch of damage. I think maybe we need to do it like this. I think we need to do it like this. This will work. All right. So now the enemy's just gonna die. They can't heal themselves at all. We're going to defend with F1, A, E, H, and we're specifically not going to. We're going to use the last charge of Impulse Blow. Impulse Blow 2, because we want both Earth Prayers to go off. This will allow us to heal Asperia. Oh, I'm so stupid. Okay. Yeah, okay. That was not the right choice. Okay, that was close to being correct. I got a little greedy there. What I needed to do was have Halion block and then use whatchamacallit. Defend F1, Impulse Blow, Heaven's Prayer. Then we're gonna use Accurate Block 5. Okay. We're going to defend F2. Resist. We're just going to use regular swing here, I think. Okay, never mind. We're not going to do that. God bless. Okay, that didn't work. That was a mistake. Now I'm just showing my ass a little bit. Sorry, folks. Alright. Let's oops. Do what works. No reason to overthink it. Do what works. Accurate block 5. Heaven's Prayer, Earth Prayer, rather, Earth Prayer. And we're going to use squad 2. Resist, triple swing. Then, second enemy, FE1, formation 1. Ice Vanisher 3. Strike, accurate block 6. We're going to defend with F3 here. We're going to use Nymthor to attack. We're gonna use counterattack.
できる腕
And then let's do F2. This should work. Because it's a blue spirit, we're using resist. Yeah, okay. And then we should be able to kill here. Alright. We did it! Level 6. And then third enemy. Basically the idea is that we are trying to get our defenders healed up. As much as we can. And then we just do it again. All right. We did it. Whew. Golly. Turn 11. Move all west. So, I apologize for that. Well, no, I don't apologize. I hope that that was interesting, because that was kind of the iterative process there. Alright. So, we want Aselia and Utica. This is going to be the team. We're going to make this work. And it's going to be just F2. And there's not a lot of strategy to this. We are just using the characters that we have access to. try and heal on the weaker enemies while saving our stronger attacks and stronger characters for the stronger enemies. So we're going to use Full Moon Sword here because it's our weakest attack at this point. Actually, that's not true. I shouldn't be doing this. I should be doing Shrouded Sword 1. Because we're going to start using Harvest here. And I'm going to use Violent Block. We're going to use Shrouded Sword because as we attack, our mind is going to decrease and eventually Shrouded Sword will be in the right range. I think once we get below 80, we will be in the right range. And so we're going to keep doing this. No need to overthink it. So what's interesting about this mission is that these last two turns have really been gauntlets, right? Where we're stuck in continuous battles against a lot of enemies all at once, and really it's a matter of using the units that we have to it's a marathon, it's a slog, right? We're going to use Shrouded Sword 2. Okay. We're going to switch here to Frenzy 2. And we're going to do YHU. Let's put Bloodlust in there just to have it. I don't know that it does anything. If anything, it's going to have a reduced effect, so this is the perfect time to use it. Oh, it just doesn't do anything. So we're just going to keep using Frenzy to wear this enemy down here. Forgive me for speeding through it. Okay, now we have the tough one. That we might not survive. We're going to do it like this. And hope that this is enough. Hey, it works! And then now we're going to do our previous strategy, because now Yuto's at enough HP that I'm pretty sure he survives this. Just barely. And we have now done the hard part. This enemy is now totally neutered, because the Heaven Sword enemy is what made this enemy dangerous. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed sort of me showcasing the process here. We got there eventually. And it's still one of my shorter videos, imagine that. And now we can just kind of do whatever we want. We're going to use Passion, because this gives us a substantial boost, whatever that means. But it allows us to capitalize on this one turn that Udoka is going to have. Ooh-wee. Let's do that again. I think she might be able to kill with this one attack here, with Passion. And we did it. Look at that, team. Okay, and that's going to be the end of this episode. I'll see you guys for the story segment next time.